What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome back to the series where I dive deep into the stats of weapons, give you guys a nice little breakdown and some best class setups, talk about the weapon. And this is sort of like the mini sub-series, as I would call it, where I show off an underrated weapon. And my last video was FFAR, but I mean now obviously it's not underrated. But 2 months ago when Cold War was integrated into Warzone, then it was not many people were using it. So today I want to be doing the AS VAL. Why? Well, it's pretty simple, because it's the fastest killing gun in the game. Faster than the FFAR, faster than the MAC-10, faster than the MP5. I mean, it's the fastest killing gun in the game. So, we'll see that a little later. So, I'm going to give you guys a best class setup. This is it. The attack laser, commando foregrip, 30 round mag, stippled VFK Strelok, and I'll show you guys why in this website here. So this is truecamdata.com. I linked the website in the description below, as well as the creator of the website's YouTube channel. And this website's awesome because you can see what every single attachment does for every single gun in the game. It's pretty crazy. So definitely great job by the creator. So we'll be choosing the AS VAL. We will compare it to a few other weapons. Not going to be an in-depth comparison though, because it's not a comparison video. But I definitely want to throw some other weapons there so you guys can see how fast they kill compared to each other. So fire rate 885 rounds per minute, which is definitely on the faster side of assault rifles, and deals 37 damage to the chest. So 37 damage to the chest is definitely on the more damaging side of things for ARs, and it has a very fast fire rate. So as you can see, it's definitely going to kill, or as you can understand, it's definitely going to kill very fast. And then it has one of the damage drop off, 28 damage to the chest. And so, I mean, it has a decent damage drop off, but you're not going to be controlling this thing at range. Plus, it has 30 rounds, so definitely not going to be usable at range. Now, why I think it's underrated is no one's using it in in solos, duos, trios, or quads. Now I understand you're not going to be using it in trios or quads because it only has 30 rounds. Even with sleight of hand, I don't recommend putting that on, but even with sleight of hand, it's not going to compensate for the lack of a lot of rounds. But why aren't people using it in solos or duos? I mean, solos at 30 rounds is definitely more than enough. Duos, you could get away with it. Sometimes you'll be in a pretty sticky situation, but most of the time in duos, you'll be fine with AS VAL. I don't know why people aren't using it in solos or duos. I mean, it's the fastest killing gun in the game. So, there's some other stats too. I mean, these aren't really the most important. ADS, I mean, 225 milliseconds, but you can make it faster, of course. And then bullet velocity is important. 333 meters per second, which is pretty slow. You could upgrade it later on, but there's no point in that because it's a close range weapon. Sprint to fire time 263 milliseconds, which is around average, and it has no open bolt delay, which is great, of course. Now, we won't be looking at the class setup just yet. I want to show you guys some other stats. So as you can see, its damage per second is around 545, which is ridiculously fast. And this is here the chart. So it kills at around 407 milliseconds, which is insanely fast. If you're hitting all your shots, it's gonna absolutely melt, gonna kill anything. And it's pretty crazy. I mean, no one's using it yet. It's the fastest killing gun in the game, and it's not unusable. You can definitely use it in solo or trios. And then at its second drop-off point, it still kills pretty fast, but like beyond 50 meters, like you're not fighting that. Even beyond 30 meters, you're not gonna fight anyone. It's mostly between 0 and 20 meters, so it's absolutely going to melt. And now we'll see the range and all that, but with the class setup. So we're going to be comparing the base AS VAL to a class setup AS VAL. Now, I'm going to show you guys the attachments I like to put on it. So, you don't need a barrel, because we're not using it for range. Yes, it does have low bullet velocity, but slow. You're using a close range. You're not going to use this thing long range, that's for sure. Laser, you definitely want the attack laser to have better aim down sight. 30 rounds, obviously, it's needed. You need stipple grip tape to have a faster aim down sight. Underbarrel, commando foregrip to have less recoil. And the stock. This is an interesting part because, I mean, obviously you don't want to go with this one. It's literally not doing anything good for you. And then you have this one, the FSS, this one here, the Gen 4 GRU, minus 25 milliseconds. But then you have this one, minus 17 milliseconds, but you get an increase of 17% of movement speed. But then you have the VLK Strelok. It reduces your vertical recoil by 20%. ADS it adds 8 milliseconds, but you're not going to notice it at all. And then your aim down sight movement speed minus 16%, but the vertical recoil is the important part. So I'd go with this one because really you're not going to be getting much better with, I mean, yeah, 25 milliseconds is about 2 frames, so you might be able to notice it. Here, 17 milliseconds is like 1 frame and a half, you know, if you're at 60 FPS. So I recommend going for the Strela because you do notice the vertical recoil reduction. So I definitely think that you should have this one up. So this is a class setup, right? Tac laser, 30-round mag, stippled, VLK Strela, Commando foregrip. And now we can see the benefits that we got. So aim down sight minus 33 milliseconds, so that's pretty good. Even with things that reduce the aim down sight, well, increase it, we still got, so ended up getting a negative here, so minus 33 milliseconds. And then stipple grip tape, yeah, adds that, minus 50 milliseconds, sprint to fire speed, all that. And then the total ADS time is down from 225 to 188, so that is 37 milliseconds that we lost, so that's great. Tactical sprint to fire speed, this is the big one, or 392 to 321, that's 71 milliseconds that we gained, well, I guess lost, right? So that's great. But our movement speed, though, we lost a bit of that, so that kind of sucks. I mean, you probably want to build differently if you want to go for movement speed, but I prefer aim down sight sprint to fire. Reload time, we lost that because of our 30-round mag, but that's alright. Sprint to fire time, 263 to 229, so that's a nice little 34 millisecond there that we lost, so that's great. And our vertical recoil from we lost 6%, so that's amazing as well. Horizontal minus 15%, so that's amazing as well. Bullet velocity is the same, very low bullet velocity, but we're using a close range, so it really does not matter. And then we'll see it basically compared to the normal one. I mean, we didn't add any range, so obviously it's going to be the same. But if we include sprint to fire speed and a percentage of ADS time, 100%, as you can see, the aim down sight one goes quite a bit faster, and then sprint to fire goes faster as well. So now I want to add some other weapons, just so we can compare a little bit. We're not going to be adding them with full attachments, though. So the FFAR with the... so this is not an in-depth comparison video, so that's why I'm not going deep into the stats of the other weapons. Well, we'll throw in the AMX. Why not? Why not? Did I miss it? AMX. There it is. Yeah, because it's CR56, actually. That's a real name. And then we'll add 2 other ones, the Mac 10, and why not? We'll add the Modern Warfare, actually no, add the MP5 from Cold War, goes faster than Modern Warfare 1. As you can see here, the AS VAL destroys everything. So, it's faster than everything else, FFAR, AMX, Mac 10, MP5, Cold War. The slowest one here is actually, well, right at the get-go, close range, is actually the Mac 10. And that's including the bolt delay. If you take off the bolt delay, the Mac 10 kills quite a bit faster. But, yeah, so... I mean, AS VAL, it's faster than all the other weapons. It's definitely significant here. But I think the reason why people don't use it as much as the other weapons is, in, let's say, Soldier Duos, is just because maybe the recoil control and the iron sights are kind of weird. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I don't know if other people feel the same. But I definitely think that once you start using it, you're going to get used to it and you're going to do really well with it. Also, it does shoot faster than, say, the FFAR, right? So... I do think that maybe that has a role in it, right? Well, the Mac 10 too, it's more forgiving, so if you miss shots, it's not too bad. But I definitely think that people should be trying this weapon because it does melt. It does melt very quick. So definitely think you guys should be using it. It's quite the weapon. This is the class setup that I think you guys should be using. Very deadly. So. Hope you guys enjoy. If you did any support, we much appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next one.